Yep.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Krumholtz, and we're back with a new guest today. We have Angie Shigagi, the owner of Creative Cook, the Creative Cook.
Yes.
Angie lives here in Wyckoff, and thanks for joining us at parkbench.com/Wyckoff. So Angie, thank you so much for coming over today.
Thank you, Vanessa, for having me in your home. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So we were just briefly chatting about your home buying experience in Wyckoff when you moved here, and can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. We've been in Wyckoff for, I guess my son is 17, so 17 and a half years, I'm assuming, I'm going to say. And we just kind of, coming from New York City, we were just kind of trying to get into a nice area with great schools and reasonable taxes and lots of trees. We came from Texas before New York, so we had to buy like 2 trees for our property. So I still love Texas, but so we were just blown away by all of Bergen County. So Ramsey, Mahwah, Allendale. We loved Ridgewood. Put in a couple of bids on homes in Ridgewood and Mahwah, Glen Rock, and then Wyckoff we came about. And at first I was like, what? Why do you say it? And the running joke is why you cough. So when we saw the home, it was kind of not our first choice, but as young, parents and couple, we already had 2 girls, and I was pregnant with our son. Yeah. We saw the promise. And I think that's what Wyckoff is. It's kind of like a promise of what is to be and what is to become. And so we bought it kind of almost on a whim after looking for a year and then like seeing this house one time, and we bought it. And we said, oh, we'll fix it up, we'll move in. And, we just moved in and, we did some things, but for the most part, it's the same. And my kids love it. I mean, the girls are away at college. And they're still like, oh, we love it here. And I'm like, really? But they love it. They love it. It is, it's like, especially like I said, my son's 17. We've been in the house basically since he was born. So it is the only home that he has known.
Right.
So it's pretty important.
How old were your daughters when you moved in then?
So the oldest daughter, Ariana, was, I believe, she was 4. And Shauna, our middle girl, she probably was, I think we had our 2nd birthday in the house.
Oh, cool.
So she wasn't even 2. And I remember we didn't know anyone in town yet. So we had family fly in from out of town. But we basically had we were like, who are we inviting to this big party? But nonetheless, we had a big party. We have fabulous memories. And
amazing food,
yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, we had. Actually, although I always usually cook, I actually was so overwhelmed with boxes still not being unpacked yet. So I went around like Wyckoff, and I discovered Blue Moon. Yeah. And I was like, okay, let's have Blue Moon for catering. And I just wrote everything down that I wanted. They delivered it, and that was that. So
they're such a great staple in town. I feel like
nothing wrong with ordering out once in a while.
No.
People literally think that I never eat out. I actually do enjoy eating out, and I do enjoy people cooking for me once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
People are like, no, I'm not cooking for you. I love that. I
think I would be intimidated cooking for you.
And that's the wrong thing. You shouldn't be intimidated.
Right? Yeah.
It's so because there's nothing I'm even tickled pink just being in your home and sitting at your table. Before we went on the air, I asked you about your table.
It's covered in paint. My kids like to do art projects.
But see, I love this. I think that we should always use our treasured items before, we're not here anymore. So, and I think a table tells a story, and yours definitely tells a story of love and gatherings and coloring and
lots of coloring, lots of glitter glue, and
so I love it. I'm a big mush when it comes to family and sitting around tables.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
We had a big birthday for my son. He turned 1 right after we moved in, so similar. So we just invited every family member. And
exactly, that made up the party. Right?
Yeah, that was it. No locals.
And you probably had boxes everywhere. You probably had to shut the door. But I find that sometimes people wait for like the perfect time. Like,
Yeah.
oh, as soon as I get all the drapes in, or as soon as we get this customized, or as soon as we get the perfect kitchen redo.
Yeah.
And I have clients who will say, well, I really want you to come private chef, because I do that also. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But I have to wait till my kitchen's redone.
Oh, God.
But then you have the kitchens where they have everything done, and then they've never used their wood oven or their, So I just feel like it doesn't matter as long as there's love. If there's love, then everyone who comes into your home can feel that love. And trust me, if they really truly love you and value you as a person, as a friend, as a family member, they're not looking for the dust or looking for, if you have window treatments or if you have the best...
A new backsplash, they don't care, right?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
So...
Yeah, no, I love having people over, and I love, and my kids are small. My kids are like 4 and 2, so my house is always a disaster, and you can only do so much.
You can only do so much.
Yeah.
You honestly want them to remember like the times where they got to throw my kids. I used to have a bottom drawer in my kitchen. It's kind of still there, but not really. I've gotten rid of a lot of it, and it was just meant for while I was cooking. They could sit right, like almost under me. It was to the left of the stove.
In the drawer.
It's a bottom junk drawer for them. And it had all like the Barbie plates and Bob the Builder plates and cups and plastic things and forks and pots and pans that were like kid friendly.
Right.
And they would just throw it out, put it all in, and crack up laughing. Throw it out, put it all in. So I always say, don't, shoo the kids out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important places in the home that they can be.
Yeah, I'm always including my 2-year-old, even though it's difficult.
Please do.
I'm always including him in cooking because it interests him and it gives him something to focus on, and then he's not destroying something else in the house.
Exactly. it's better to have them under your toe than to have them in the other room. So, and then there's so many things people are like, oh, you cook with 1 and 2-year-olds, and I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
If they could tear paper, if they can grasp a toy or a bottle or a passy, they could grasp a piece of herb.
Yeah.
And then say tear it, have them tear it and tell them what the herb is and say, what's your son?
Smell it, Jonas.
Jonas. Oh, I love it. Like our White Cloth boys.
Like the Jonas. We named him before we moved
Oh
here.
yeah. Yeah, right. I'm putting it together though. I'm putting it together. So have them smell the herbs and touch it and I don't know. I just think that there's so much, and then I always made homemade dough with my kids and just let them kind of, practice kneading it and just squeezing it. And kids love that of all ages.
Yes,
they
it's
love.
like Play-Doh.
It's like Play-Doh, but if they actually, swallowed it, it wouldn't hurt them because it's non-toxic, it's food. So there's just so much you can do and so much that can be said and so much memories that can be made inside of a kitchen.
Yeah, oh my God, I agree.
Yeah.
So how did you start your business initially? And then I want to talk about the kids cooking. I want to get back to that, but tell me how everything started initially.
So Creative Cooks is 13 years this month and this year. So I started because a little bit of a challenging situation. I was going through a divorce, and the kids, my 3, were quite young, and at the same time my mom was quite ill. So she moved from Florida or Georgia to live with me so I can help take care of her. At the same time as I have 3 little ones. At the same time I'm going back and forth to court. So at the same time I felt like I'm gonna lose my mind. And I had to really dig deep and go back to what has always saved me. And that was cooking with my dad, with my grandma, with aunts, uncles. We spent a lot of time. Most of my childhood memories I can remember. I was the running joke in my family. I'm one of 6, is that I'm the greedy one, and I am. I'm hungry for life. I'm hungry for hope and future. So yeah, I am pretty greedy. I always have to say so. Make fun of me all you want, my brothers and sisters. But yeah, so getting back into the kitchen, I said that's what saved me, kept me from losing my absolute mind and the grace of God. So I said, if it makes me feel this good, I have to find a way to incorporate this into my daily life. But at the same time, my oldest was probably 1st grade at Lincoln Elementary School. So with her being so young, all the way down to like a 4-year-old, you know, our son was 3.5, 4. I was like, there's no way I can just go work somewhere from 9 to 5.
Right.
And leave them with my mom, who her health was failing. She was going to dialysis 3 times a week.
Right.
So I'm loading her into the van to drive her to dialysis, which moving from Georgia, she was on a wait list to be at Valley dialysis. So if you're not familiar with dialysis, it's basically like almost chemotherapy for someone.
It's like all day.
It's all day, it's horrible, but it was saving her life at the time. So I had to drive her all the way to Westwood, to the clinic over there, in addition to get my little one, the oldest one, to kindergarten.
Right.
And then the 2 little ones went to preschool like for an hour or 2.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know, like the hour or 2 situation.
Yeah.
Just enough for you to drop them off and come right back and get them.
Maybe take a shower in between.
Yeah. So it was just kind of crazy. So Creative Cooks, I remember sitting at my kitchen table with a couple of girlfriends, and I said, I really want to start a business with cooking with kids. And I also had spoken to my siblings, my brother, who's a finance guy. You know, I don't know if I was kind of trying to fill him out for a loan to start a business. And he was like, hey, if you want to do something, just do it. It's like, don't make any excuses about you need a location, you need the best pots and pans. He's like, really, you need to like dig deep and you need to just do it.
That's great advice for anything.
Yeah,
I think.
like people say, oh, I'm gonna wait until this is perfect and that's perfect. So that's why usually most things that I do, I just do it.
Yeah.
Because if I wait, like my cookbook, it just doesn't happen. You have to just act. You have to just dig deep and not be afraid. And so Creative Cooks came about in March of 13 years ago, 2006, because I wasn't afraid anymore. I wasn't afraid to, believe in myself, to believe that I had something to offer to not only kids, but now I teach adults. I have senior men's on Wednesdays at the Y in Wyckoff. So I had to dig deep and just believe in myself. And that's Creative Cooks.
Wow, it's a great story and really inspiring for other people who are, sitting at home today, watching and thinking, oh, there is something that I really want to do and I'm not doing it and I'm putting it off. I think that can speak to a lot of people.
And to add on to that, Vanessa, the budget was very tight, so for me to say, oh, I'm going to place an ad in this magazine or that newspaper, I just couldn't do that. I could not advertise the way that one might do, properly. But my advertisement, my original flyers, I wish I could find it. I'm still trying to find it. Were made by my oldest, Ariana, who, like I said, was in first grade at Lincoln, and they were written on notebook paper that she had colored and made a spoon, and
oh my God.
and she put, come to Creative Cooks classes weekly, $25, and I was holding my breath to get $25.
Right.
And I kept these people's kids for 2 and 3 hours in my home, and I was like, oh, are they gonna pay me $25? Or am I gonna get this? And I didn't make a dime. I remember when they left, I have a sunroom off of the kitchen, so I made that. I bought all these tables from IKEA with the chairs, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't make a dime.
They didn't pay you?
No, they paid me, but it was eight little girls, and they were all Ariana's friends, by the way. They're all in college or they graduating from college.
Right.
And I was just after they paid me, and the supplies and the big mess, and I was like, and my mom's sitting in the living room, and I'm keeping the door shut so she doesn't say, Angie. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? I miss her. But, so it was just after they left, she was like, that's a huge mess. And I'm like, I love it. I was so good. And that's the thing that you have to, I'm just started reading this book. I forgot the author's name. Her name is Angela, but her last name eludes me right now. But it's called Grit. And I know that if we could have a class where we teach grit, hopefully it can be taught, I don't know. But grit is what has gotten me from that to where I am today.
Yeah.
Which, there's no other way to explain it. And this is Hannah, which ironically is my mom's maiden name.
Oh, really?
Hannah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
This is Hannah. She's probably forgotten that she's just been outside. Hannah, come here. So my thought was that those friends of your daughters who are now grown up must have such warm memories of that class.
I hope so. I think they do. I'll run into some of them sometimes. You know, they'll call me Miss Angie.
Yeah.
Some of them she's still very close to. So when they get together, sometimes their moms and I will get together. But, you know, just tying this all back around to kitchen tables. So two of those girlfriends sat at my kitchen table in my home in Wyckoff. And, you know, they would come and they pray, you know, over my divorce and everything I was going through and my mom's health. And then they said, you know, they helped scribble down some ideas too for the name of my company.
Cool.
And they just said, you know, we're just going to pray that that what's meant to be will be. And so, you know, I've had tremendous support. And in terms of advertising, like, knock on the wood, beautiful wood at that, I haven't really had to pay for any advertisement because, you know, out of the woodworks, I have one mom say to the other mom, oh, you know, if you want a birthday party for your child, you have to consider Angie Shigagi from Creative Cooks. Oh, really? What's her number? You know, or jotted down my number and passed it on to the next person. Or
Right.
So it's just been one person to the next and one blessing after the other.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
Real true power of word of mouth.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I had the pleasure of trying your food before I got to meet you. So, and I didn't even know it was your food at first, and I was eating it, and I was like, oh my God. And all of us it was like a little party at my girlfriend's house in town. Everything was so delicious. We were all like, oh, what do you got? Oh, what do you have? Oh, let me have some of that. Yeah. And my friend, you know, told me, oh, Chef Angie made it, of course. And I was excited because we had already planned to meet. So I was like, oh my God, this is like so wonderful.
Talk about small world. Like that's really, who would have thought? Like,
who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
Well, and what's funny is that my friend whose house the party was at, her and I went to high school together.
Oh,
just
really?
happened to move less than a mile apart.
Wow.
And yeah, ran into each other at the library one day.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, she told me she was having like high school friends, and I'm like,
yeah.
But then she had said that she had moved back from.
She was in Hoboken.
Yeah, she was away
We're
from
talking about you,
Wyckoff.
Toral. Shout out to Toral.
Beautiful home, by the way. She has a blog herself.
She does, yeah.
Yeah. So many interesting and just authentic, real, lovely people in this town. Like I honestly I can't even begin to tell you, you know, I did an event a week ago in a neighbor / girlfriend / her daughter was my student for years, Wyckoff mom, for her travel firm. And she knew that, you know, the situation with my father had just passed, and just the way that she embraced me, her and her husband, into their home, and, you know, just like, you know, I'm helping, give me this, I'm working for her. But no one has ever, you know, treated me as if I was working for them. And in turn, whoever's helped me out, you know, I never say that they're working for me. I always say, oh, we're working together.
Right.
So, you know, I think that is a really sweet part of Wyckoff. I'm sure other towns have that, but it is a sweet part of Wyckoff.
I think we are lucky in you know, being here, and everybody that I've run into has been so supportive and so nice and kind and you know, helpful. I've gotten to know a lot of my neighbors, and you know, everybody's just been really great.
Do anything for you, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know? And we all have busy lives. You know, some people's backyards are 4 miles away from yours, but at the same time, you know, I think one thing that helps though is when you have kids and they go to school together. You know, you do have the Wyckoff Newcomers Club and you have all these clubs, but when you have kids and you're in the school community, oh boy, like you're really set for life with friendships. So, you know, with me having 3 kids, I like have 3 whole different communities of girlfriends and their husbands and and their, you know, their kids that have just surrounded us, and anything that we need, you know, they do.
That's so great. Yeah, my daughter's starting kindergarten in September. I signed her up a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
you're gonna love it. I can remember my first child, who's 21.
Yeah,
her first day of kindergarten, actually better than the other 2.
Yeah,
like yesterday, walking up. I remember the women that I met and their kids, and we still all talk pretty much. Not every day, not every month, but
Right.
hey, what's going on? You want to meet for lunch? You want to meet for dinner?
Check it
So
in, yeah.
it's unreal. That memory has never ever, it will never fade. So you're in for a treat.
Yeah.
You thought Wyckoff was something else? Wait until you're in the school system.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which town? Which are you zoned for?
We're in Sycamore.
Sycamore. Oh yeah, lovely. I do cooking classes there too, by the way.
Oh, at the school?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I love Sycamore.
Yeah.
They do a healthy kids fair every year.
Mhm.
So I believe it's in April, end of April, May. So I usually go and present something there. They'll have
Right.
other businesses related to food and gardening.
Oh,
Someone
wow.
from ADMAS comes, and
I love that.
Health Barn is usually there. So it's really great. It's great. It's great because there's enough room for everyone, and everyone has their gift, and everyone has their time and talents that they can share, and that's what's so cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So what other things that I don't know about your business that you do? What other little hidden things?
I started out 13 years ago for just cooking with kids.
Right.
And I branched out and I started doing adults. I don't even remember the first adult class, but someone said, oh, would you ever consider doing moms? And so it started out with moms. And then now I do, active older adult men at the Wyckoff Y on Wednesdays, and we have such a good time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. So they're
What do you
semi-retired
cook
or
with
retired.
them?
So we just have broken in the Instapot.
Oh,
So
awesome.
we did short ribs a week ago. So we did braising of cabbage. We've done sushi making. Tomorrow, Wednesday, class, they want to do work on Cajun, so Creole type
cool.
cooking.
Yeah.
So we really, we work on knife skills. I mean, and I have to say, we have a competition friendly between the adult senior women and men. It's called a burger battle.
Yeah.
And the third annual one was this past, May 2018, and we finally beat the women's team.
Oh my
So
God.
now we're the reigning champions, so we have to compete again. We like to compete.
Is there
in
going to
May.
be another one in
Yeah,
May?
May.
Oh, I want to come.
We'll have to invite you.
Yeah,
you should. Yes, definitely. So our bacon barbecue cheddar and onion jam beat the ladies last year.
That sounds really
It
good.
was theirs was good too, but ours was better. No, I'm just joking. No, so I teach every age, and I also do a little private chefing on the side. Not a lot, because my joy really comes from interacting. So I've done lots of audition tapes. We were talking about that a little bit between you and I, because I know you're an actress too. So I've done some TV, some reality stuff. So I do like to cook and talk to people, but at the same time I like to talk with people, not like just talk. So
Right.
the cooking classes are really what help me.
The
and
most
they
interactive.
they're interactive and they feed my soul. So I do private chefing, but just I have a few clients. Like one of my other clients is Oberg and Lindquist. They have a location in Wyckoff, but on Saturdays, I show people how to use everything from a decor appliance to GE, and they're family owned. So everything kind of revolves and goes back around me to families. So and food and just love. So I do demos in appliance stores, and I've done some for Contos Foods, which is another family owned business out of Patterson. And pretty much anything related to food.
And like catering for events.
Small caterings,
Right.
things like that. I was blessed to find a location to rent a professional kitchen in Allendale.
Oh wow.
Due to another Wyckoff mom
Love it.
who reached out to me and said, oh, our church built this multi-million-dollar kitchen. It's the Trinity Episcopal Church. And she said, oh, we're looking to rent it to a vendor. And are you interested? And at that same day, I had, was just trying to find another kitchen because my other kitchen had fallen through. And I literally was like, you're talking about chills coming down my body. I just couldn't believe that same day that one of my other kitchens had fallen through, that I could no longer rent anymore because they were just going to be solely doing something else. she reaches out to me via email. Haven't really spoken to her besides just a Facebook like here and there.
Right.
Reaches out to me. So you can't tell me things are not meant to be. You can't tell me that there's not someone above looking out for us. You can't tell me that, you know, friends can't be like family. You can't tell me that, because I won't believe you.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
she like somehow something.
It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, excuse me, if I even told her that in the email, but I was like, you have no, I'm getting chills just telling it, because I was literally, and every time I've like been dumb enough or silly enough, I should say, to like start to worry about something, you know, someone comes by and says, oh, guess what? I found this. I thought it would be a great fit for you. Out of the blue, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So, you know, that goes back to like, we have to just have faith. We have to have faith. We have to believe in what you want to do, believe in what you can do, and believe in others to give you a helping hand.
Yeah. I really believe in, like, you know, supporting other people in their endeavors, and I think that's, you know, because nobody can do it alone, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's so true. I've seen a lot of your previous interviews with some fabulous White Cloth businesses women, and I've utilized, you know, at least one of their businesses before. So yeah, I'm proud of you too. I think it's amazing what you're doing, and you know, I just think that you give and you get back in return. It's not that you're looking to get something back in return, but that's the way fate looks out for you, for doing good and giving back to others, and not just solely being concerned with yourself.
Right.
For years, I had a Patterson School contract. It was a 21st Century grant that they wrote in and received from the government. So I had over probably 5 locations in Patterson, 5 schools.
Oh, wow.
So many stories I heard. I would travel. I would leave White Cloth from doing classes and then reload and then travel to Patterson and then get home late at night. And I have girlfriends and friends that say, oh my goodness, you know, how much are you really getting to be going over there? And it was tough. I really have to tell the truth, it was tough. But every time I would leave and a child would run up to me and say, oh, Chef Angie, thank you so much. I really love that. You know, this was such a great meal. I never had tasted sweet potatoes before. I never had, you know, butternut squash soup or shepherd's pie. It's like, and their eyes are like lighting up at you. It's like, you know, I'm like, oh, my heart is
doing it.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it, and all is well.
Yeah,
all is well.
You know, you're on the right track, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's so great. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
You have been so inspirational today. I'm so happy to be able to get to know you, and I hope this is just the beginning of
absolutely
friendship.
Absolutely. We have to cook together next time.
Yeah, I'd love to. We could, you know, if you want, we could do another video with some, you know, like we were talking, like a 5-minute meal. Or,
yes,
like that.
definitely.
That would be really fun.
Definitely, I would love that, Vanessa. And I have to say too, you could tell a great cook by the cup of coffee. It is delicious. I'm kind of picky with coffee because I don't like it when it's watery tasting.
Yeah, no, I like it really strong.
Girl, right on. I love it.
I'm glad.
I've been dying to say that. I'm like, oh, you know, because when you offered me a cup, I was like, I'm going to have a cup. But if this tastes like water, I'm going to slowly pour it down her drain. But
it's like Kona coffee. It's like Hawaiian coffee.
Yes. It's delicious.
Shop right. It's nothing fancy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me in your home.
Oh, thank you for coming so much. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Vanessa Krumholtz, your local sponsor for parkbench.com/Wyckoff. And I've been lucky to have Chef Angie here today with me, the creative cook and the owner of Creative Cooks here in town.
I wanted to also say that I would love if anybody watches the video and you would follow me on Instagram at Chef Angie Shigagi, or Facebook is Creative Cooks. Just give a shout out to Vanessa and that you saw the video, and I will love to offer you a special surprise, maybe a discount on a cooking lesson. So please reach out.
Exciting.
Yeah, please reach out.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.